Hi, my name is Ashley Thompson. I work for BioWare, and I'm going to be your interviewer today. And I'm just going to be asking you a few questions to see if you're a good candidate for the position. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. All right, let's start this interview off. How would you describe yourself? Can you tell me some things about yourself?
I consider myself to be an extremely goal-oriented person. I feel like when I really set my mind to something, there's really nothing that can stop me. I guess you could almost call me stubborn in that way. I've always really had an interest in the field of video games, and it's just something I've always really been passionate about. And I feel like it's really something that, like I said, when I set my mind to it, I could really provide a lot to the company and to the industry as a whole.
Okay. Um, why should we hire you?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm very passionate about the industry. I've been playing video games since I was 5 years old, and I'm sure everyone you get here says that. But I mean, it's true, and I'm picky about the games that I play, and I feel that that will actually transfer over into helping BioWare as a company create the games. I feel that I won't settle for something that is below my own expectations, which is something I do consider to be very high. And I believe that will show over into the quality of games that hopefully I'll be able to help create.
Okay. What are some goals that you would have if you worked for BioWare? What are some of your goals in general?
Well, as I said, I grew up playing video games, and certain ones do stick out in my mind. Some of them actually created by BioWare that brought me a lot of hours of enjoyment as a kid, and that's something that I would like to be a part of and bringing to another generation. I would like to, say that I was able to help create those games that kids of the future will really be able to love and remember for the rest of their lives. As far as my goal for the company, I would just love to move up as high as I can. I mean, like I said, I consider my quality of work to be very high, and I would just like that to be able to transfer over into my own work, and hopefully that will, lead me to be able to rise up in the company.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This is really a job that I feel like it's one I want to keep. I mean, I'm not getting this during a transitional period or something like that. This is what I want to make a career out of. And I want to make my career working with BioWare. The type of games that BioWare is, to my knowledge, famous, I guess you could say, for creating are the types I love. Role-playing games, strategy, very in-depth story-related games. And that's something I could see myself getting very into. And I want to be working with BioWare for a very long time.
Okay. What would you consider to be some of your weaknesses?
Well, to be very honest, like I said, I consider myself a very goal-oriented person, and I guess that does have its negatives as well, such as if I feel like I'm doing a task that may be either mundane or, something that I'm not seeing exact ramifications of, I may get bored with it, or I may, ask myself, why am I doing this? But I don't really see it being that much of a problem with BioWare because, like I said, it's, every little thing that goes into making a video game has to be so exact and so, I guess, perfect to live up to the quality of the, company BioWare that I just really feel like it won't be a problem for me. And, I really can't see myself having to deal with that.
Could you see yourself improving in that area?
I could. I mean, like I said, it's just something that you have to work at. It's something you just kind of have to get mind over matter, I guess. Like I said, it's just something I'm not really worried about bothering too much at all.
Um, obviously you're going to be working with a team. Do you ever have you ever had a conflict recently and how you've handled it?
I believe the major conflict that I've had to handle recently is moving up here to Ohio in the first place. I'm originally from Tennessee, and coming up here to go into school to get the goal of having this job is I had to move away from my friends, all my family, and just come into a place that is foreign to me. And I've been very homesick lately, but this is my dream, and it's something I'm really looking forward into getting into. And, again, it's the mind over matter. It's just something where when I set my goal to doing this, there's nothing that can stand in my way.
What was your major in college?
It's actually going to be it was graphic design.
Okay.
I feel like that's a very major point in the video game industry. Obviously with the animations that go into the games, for simple things such as lip movements, even to just the way a character walks or acts towards other characters. I just feel like if you don't get that right within a game, then it can actually ruin the whole game. So that's why I decided to major in that field, to just kind of make it my area of expertise to, hopefully make it something that I can contribute to the company.
Okay. Well, here at BioWare we do a lot of teamwork. Can you tell me about an experience you had where you worked part of a team?
Well, I did play basketball for a quite few number of years, and I really can't think of anything that's more team-oriented than that. I was by no means the leading scorer on the team. I wasn't the most important player by any means, but I did my part. And I know that that was very important into achieving our goal of winning. And, it didn't bother me that I wasn't that top guy, because I felt good knowing that I could contribute in the way that I did to the team.
Okay. Can you give me an example of just how you adapted to like a variety of roles or situations and in the environments that you're going to be in?
Well, as I said, just moving up here to Ohio in the first place has been a huge adaptation for me. It's taken a lot of getting used to, not being able to see my friends and family every day, living in just a new area, a new climate. It's much colder up here, actually, than I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. But, that, and on top of going back to basketball, I played many different positions. Some I wasn't used to. One time, mid-game, the coach told me to play point guard when I never had before. And I tried my best to adapt to that position and do the best I could to help the team win.
What is something that was a very big accomplishment in your life?
I would say probably, again, moving up here and chasing my dream. It's, I feel like the background that I came from, I had a lot of negative influences. I might have had people telling me that I couldn't necessarily do what I dreamt of doing. And the fact that I felt like I've overcome that and gone on to, hopefully soon be able to live my dream is something I feel very good and very confident about.
Okay. What is your ideal work environment?
To be perfectly honest, I guess like anyone, laid back, but at the same time, very goal-driven. I want a deadline. I want to know that this is something that I have to get done by this certain amount of time, because that's what drives me, is to have that sort of inspiration to know that something I'm doing is going to be such a big part of, perhaps the game that we'll be creating. It's just something that, I feel would drive me into constantly being pushed towards that overall goal of achieving the complete game.
All right, so this job position here at BioWare Game Design, what is some important qualities would you think that you would need to have for this position?
I think you have to just love video games. I think you have to have a very high critique of the games that you enjoy and the things that you enjoy looking for in games. I think that if you're the type of person who can just easily be amused by almost any game, then you could settle for less if you were to be creating that game. And that's why, with myself having such a high criteria for what I consider to be good in a game, I'll settle for nothing less with BioWare. And I'll make sure that we are making the highest quality video games that we personally can through what I can control and something that I'll be a part of helping to achieve.
Okay, where did you go to college for? Where did you go to college at?
I went to college, Hawking College in Nelsonville, Ohio. Okay. Most of my classes I did take were online because I did have to have a full-time job during that time, working 40 hours a week. It was difficult, but it's something that I really kept my mind focused on, and I made sure I did the absolute best that I could to graduate and hopefully enter this field.
What about what is the worst experience in your life? Something you've had to really overcome?
I would probably say the death of my girlfriend's sister. I came from a family where I was a single child, and I never knew what it was like to have a brother or sister. So when I moved out to Ohio and I got with my girlfriend, their family accepted me with open arms, and she had a brother and a sister, and I finally felt like what it was like to be able to have siblings. And when she was killed in a car wreck, it was very difficult emotionally for the whole family, and it was just something very difficult to overcome.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Andrew, for coming in today.
No problem. Thank you for the opportunity. I really hope that we'll be able to work together again in the future.
All right. Thank you.